Hello, everybody. Welcome to With Wisdom with me, Sanjay Surya, and my co host.
Gabriela Álvarez.
And with Wisdom, this is embodying energy, embracing seasons. So, in our first recording for May, we talked about thresholds, the threshold of May being from spring into summer. And today we're going to be adding a little bit more information around that kind of moving into summer and some of the traditional festivities and traditions that happen. And there's plenty online, and we're going to hone in a short while into a particular tree. But just to start with, May, there's an old saying called "ne'er cast a clout till May is out." And it wasn't anything to do with the whole month of May, it was to do with the flowers of the hawthorn tree, which is often called May. And when you see the May flowers adorning those trees, then it was a time for you to possibly move away from winter clothes into more spring and summer clothes. But May has such important meanings for the people who are from Celtic backgrounds. And I think, Gabriella, that's you. So tell me a little bit about some of the traditions of May.
Hi, Sam. So yeah, it's somehow I have Celtic backgrounds from my Galician roots in Spain, and also because I find it fascinating, no? And then they celebrate these midpoints between seasons, like the Beltane celebration in the beginning of May, or Samhain is the opposite complementary celebration when we go downwards, no? And I was feeling is this preparation of the change of the energy, right? So when you
Mm,
see the energy coming from winter, spring, and then going to summer is going upwards to the climax. And in this festivity, they celebrate it with fire, right? So the fire,
yes.
which I find beautiful. The fire is also the element of summer in in Chinese traditional medicine, and it's all about this flourishing, going upward, love, laughter, sharing with each other, but also communicating with the two worlds, no, the unseen world and the manifested world or the
Mm.
embodied world, right? And
Yeah, I love it. Can I just that flame bit? Can I just jump in there? Because you said the Beltane, for anybody who's like interested in this, there is a stack of information on the internet that you can always look up. But the Beltane flames, the flames going up. And in spring, because we're still sort of in spring here in terms of the sort of weather patterns and meteorological. So you said that in the Chinese wisdom, wind is associated with spring and fire is associated with summer. And that wind that we still have in spring is fanning those flames of growth, I think, as well, which is really wonderful.
together with the wood, no? Because the element
Mm.
of spring from the Chinese medicine is the wood.
Oh,
The
yes.
the wind is a meteorological expression of spring, and then the wood, the wind, and they help, or the oxygen, they help to light the fire, right?
Yes, sorry, I made a mistake there. Yes, you're absolutely
Oh,
right.
it's
Yes,
perfect.
definitely. The spring
It's
element is
beautiful
wood. Mm.
because it's all these elements are necessary, or you see, I was sharing the previous video, and I want to share it again because it's something that it has been quite a relief, and also a good thing for me to realize that all this wisdom live in our genes, in our cells, no?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if you have read a lot of books or anything. It's and that's the great gift of becoming in touch with my body through qigong and through the somatic coaching, and that's I think the power. Many people don't know about how to work with the body in coaching. It's such a although there are many, many more people working nowadays, it's still something that is quite foreign to many people, right? Because you think in coaching and you think about all what it
The
comes
head.
from the
Mm.
brain. But
Mm.
the beauty of integrating the body in the coaching process is that you start to have access to so much wisdom that is not only about, and nowadays many, it's more like common knowledge and understanding about trauma. But the other side of this is not only we have access to the trauma, but the legacy of light and power and resilience that our ancestors had, and the whole nature lives in ourselves. So when you start to feel yourself, you start to see that all what we are sharing, Sam and myself, it doesn't matter if it's correct or incorrect. You are gonna start to feel it in your body, in your energy, and that's why this with wisdom is about embracing seasons, because you start to feel it in your body, even if you know it. You see the plants, even if they are in a dark room and they don't see the
They
sun, they
they'll still grow towards
they,
the
they,
light.
they still grow toward the light because we have this information.
Mm.
And that's something I want to convey through our videos. We share all this beautiful information just to reflect back and just take a moment and feel it in your body. Are you feeling this energy? Are you feeling this upward movement, this fire in your heart, this
Mm.
willingness to go more outside? You were more inside. If you're not feeling, it doesn't matter, because maybe you are in a different season than the season outside. That's also valid.
And it's just this sort of like moving towards the light, but not negating everything that may be in the shadow, because actually there's great learning there, and there's great wisdom there, and take it, use it to help you grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to come back to some of the traditions associated with
Yeah.
May, and in particular, we were chatting before we pressed record about the tree, the hawthorn tree. And the hawthorn tree is definitely in the northern hemisphere. You'd find that the hawthorn tree, and it's got a lot of mythology associated with it. One particular bit that I really enjoy is that the hawthorn tree was almost like a sort of doorway to the other world, to the
Mm-hmm.
fairy, to the fairy world, and my kind of imagination and fantasy and fairy folk imagination. That is something that draws me. And in the past, often when a hawthorn tree was, say a bird dropped a berry and it grew into a small sapling, it would be rarely uprooted, because actually it was a sort of a familiar almost, or a favour of the fairy folks. That they liked hawthorns. So villagers would grow around the hawthorn tree rather than cutting it down and moving it. Because if you cut down a hawthorn tree, it was considered to be bad luck. And it was bad luck. And it's still bad luck, or supposed to be bad luck, if you believe in that sort of thing, or you believe in luck, to cut hawthorn flowers and take them into your house. And if you did, then you would be bringing bad luck up in your home. Personally, my view on this is that hawthorn flowers are really smelly, and they smell a bit like decaying flesh, death, or something not very nice. And this is a chemically found compound that is found within hawthorn flowers. So maybe bringing those flowers into the house just made your house even more stinky than it ever would have been. Because remember, back in the day, they didn't have necessarily, flushing toilets and shower cubicles and baths. So people lived, people may not have bathed as regularly as we do today. So actually bringing in something that's a little bit smelly won't be very helpful. So I love that. But there are other Celtic traditions around the hawthorn. Is associated with early Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Many that Christ's crown of thorns was made from hawthorn branches.
Yeah.
And you do have those very, very sharp, pointy thorns on hawthorns. You have to be quite careful if you are looking at it. And in the flowers, in the actual flower, you'll get, depending on, I think, on the species, but you'll get little red dots are supposed to be the drops of blood that fell on the flower from.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got a photo to show you in a short while. Anything that interests you about Hawthorn, Gabby?
Yeah, well, I mean, since you share with me that you would like to talk about Hawthorn, I was like reading a
Mm.
bit about it because I'm not like very knowledgeable on plants and trees and bushes.
Hmm.
And it was first I read about this tradition, not only about the what you shared, but also that it was used for a crown for the most beautiful girl in the town,
Oh, yes.
that it was the because it represented the union between the god and the goddess and the fertility, no? So
Mm.
I saw that the month of May is a celebration of fertility, and for me would be a beautiful thing to unify the celestial forces, so the sun and the cosmic forces with the earth forces, no,
Mm.
with the feminine part, no, and that was the hawthorn was used for this crown also, not only for the Christ. And the other thing I was also having a look is it's associated with the Thurisaz rune from the Vikings, which Thurisaz is also like a thorn, is but it's also
Oh, the rune from the Vikings.
yeah,
Right. Okay.
and it this rune is also having to do with a threshold. It's a
Oh my
threshold.
goodness, I didn't know that.
It's associated with many things, with a thorn, that
Yes.
like a flower, it has a thorn to protect itself.
Mhm.
It's not for inflicting harm, just for being harmful. It's for protection, because it was also believed in these times. And also I found in Venezuela, they have other kind of traditions for protection, because if the veil is thin between the walls, you need to have discernment and protection between whatever comes, right? And the other interesting thing I found is that this plant, I used it last year because I had some problems in my heart and I was feeling a weak heart. And I have a beautiful girlfriend that she's very wise with plants and herbs, and she advised me to take tea of this plant. And it was discovered in the 1800 that this plant has properties for strengthening the heart. And the man I was listening to, he was mentioning, was beautiful, that the plants show us their properties, or the what they can give to us whenever is the right moment. Even the hawthorn was known before, and it was used for all this tradition. The properties for the heart were discovered in the 1800, right in the point where the heart diseases started to appear in the world. Because before that, we didn't have this kind of diseases. They are linked to the industrialized world. When
Yeah,
we start to
people
be,
didn't have enough exercise and were stuck in dark rooms and
yeah.
working long hours. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a generous plant that have a lot of association in this
Mm.
threshold, moving into the heart. The heart is the organ of the fire element in summer. So it's strengthening this heart that it will come into the summer to live so many experiences, because in summer
Mm.
we are outside wanting to do many things. In the previous sharing for the month of May, we were saying about pruning and weeding out and selecting what we want to focus on to give a space. So I think it's quite beautiful, the wisdom of the whole nature to prepare us for the best conditions
Absolutely.
for summer.
Well, I would like to share with you now. I wonder whether you'll be up for this, Gabby.
Mhm.
A Hawthorn meditation. And
Yeah.
I've actually found this through a really wonderful website. And we're going to put a link in the chat. Icy Sedgwick, who's she's a folklore writer, and she's actually a writer as well around fantasy and using sort of Celtic traditions plus the Christian traditions. She's sort of like looking for all of the sort of like the information that has been handed down through the ages. You're referring back to your ancestry piece you spoke to earlier. And I thought maybe if you're up for it, you could do the meditation with me. And whilst I'm doing that, I thought I would share a photograph
Mhm.
of a hawthorn flower that I took actually in 2020. I'm hoping that you can see it now. Can you see that photograph now, Gabby?
Now it's yeah, appearing. I'm moving the voila. Yeah, now we can see
Yeah.
it. Mhm.
And it's okay, so we can see that beautiful flower. And I took it. You can actually see my dog just in the far corner there as well. I took it on a walk. This is during lockdown, actually, and when you know the days when you had to walk far, far away from people. And I came across this hawthorn because it was in the month of May. As it was when I took this, and I I'm going to pull on a meditation that Icy Sedgwick, Sedgwick had put out on her channel, and I've just adapted it slightly, because sometimes in the past, people would gather on May Day, which is long past now, but is May the 1st, would gather around one of the old hawthorns on the edge of a village or a town. And there would be the celebration of May, and the young girl maybe would have had a crown of May on her head. But there was also a time when people could ask the hawthorn for a wish for something, and they would tie a little ribbon on the hawthorn. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way that people do that now, because we'll be leaving rubbish, and rubbish is not allowed. We want to see the beauty of the tree. But if you do have a hawthorn near you, you might wish to do this. Tie a ribbon and then make the wish, and then as you leave, take the ribbon with you and use it as a keepsake, as a little memory of this. So just make yourself comfortable, Gabby. Feet on the ground. You know what to do. You're a somatic coach. Ground yourself. Really lean in. Just take a moment to just gather where you are and how your body's taking up space in this room. And then I want you to imagine yourself walking in a wood. You decide on which types of trees are around you. It's up to you. The spring weather might be warm, or it might be cool and rainy. It might be a little bit windy. Again, it's up to you. And as you walk through this wood, you're drawn to a path that winds its way through, away from the main path that others might be walking on. And as you take this quieter path, pay attention to any birds or animals that you might hear or see along the way. And as you walk, you follow this path and you come to a quiet clearing. And in the middle is an old hawthorn tree. Its branches are wreathed in blossom as it's May. The blossom is like white snow covering the branches, stretching out towards you. And as you walk closer, you get a sight of the beauty of each of the flowers, with the stamens tipped with a deep pink and a lime green at the centre. You pull out of your pocket a ribbon of cloth, a memento of a faded item of clothing you gave away, and you decided to tie it onto the branches. As once you've tied it, you sit with your back to the trunk of the tree. This old tree holds you firm. For a moment you look up, see the green of the leaves, the flowers and the branches. Every aspect of this tree is with you right now. And as you wait, the spirit of the hawthorn appears beside you. They take whatever form is right for you today. Tell them a bit about you, your name, what brought you here today. And now ask them a question, something you might need some guidance on. Listen to the question. The answer will come in whatever form the spirit thinks appropriate. They might sing it, they might dance it, they may speak some words. It might be an image that may come up for you, or a sensation in your body. Don't question it, just accept it. When they've finished, they give you a gift. Hold out your hand to receive it. This gift will be a gift from your mind through them to you again. Take notice of what it is. Thank the spirit for their time and their generous gift, and say farewell. Walk back along the path all the way to the edge of the woods, paying attention again to any plants or animals that you see on your way. And now, Gabby, I want you to wriggle your fingers and your toes, literally and physically. And then when you are ready, I'd like you to open up your eyes, take a little look around the room, and when you're ready, come back to the screen. And if and only if, would you share with us what shape the spirit took and what gift it may have given you today?
Yeah, it was quite nice because I don't know if it had it didn't have a concrete shape. It was more like a lot of rays of light that were with the quality of watery quality and also sun quality, like warmth, and there were like warm pink colors, like very. The sensation was like a welcoming blanket
Mm,
that gives you comfort and feels yeah, welcoming, like a mother love, no, that is
mm,
warm and welcoming and loving, but it doesn't imprison you or doesn't burn you. And the gift, it was a key, but an old key with a ribbon, a pink ribbon. So I still need
mm.
that. But it was all the sensation of being um, embraced, but this beautiful element that is not quite a fire or water, but both.
And the key, how did the key in any way relate to the question you asked?
I still don't know. I think that's a something I need to like let
Let
sink
it sink. Yeah, lovely.
and get it to me. But it was all this like feeling very embraced and protected
Mm,
and welcome. It's a
mm,
maybe it's this feeling what I need, no more than the key, no, or the key
mm,
feeling. I don't
mm.
know. That's something I normally when I do this kind of journeys, I let it sink and it will evolve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I did this morning and
Mm-hmm.
I listened to Icy speaking as she led me through this. Obviously, it was slightly different wording, but led me through this. And I had the spirit of the Hawthorn came to me in the form of a rabbit.
Oh.
And that there was something about this rabbit. It had really luxurious fur, and it was really, I could sink my fingers into the fur, and there was something about giving quite a lot of comfort. So it's quite strange that you're talking about something that's embracing you and giving warmth in a blanket. There was something about that rabbit that was very kind of joyful just to stroke, and it was allowing me that opportunity to stroke it. Give me an acorn.
Mm.
And even though I'm sitting under a hawthorn, it gave me an acorn. Acorns are a very kind of special kind of talisman, I suppose, for me,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of there's always so much that can actually come out of an acorn. So that was for me, and it definitely did relate to the question I asked. So this is a meditation, our listeners, that maybe you might choose to use for yourself. And actually, the month of May goes on for 31 days because May has 31 days. There will be plenty of hawthorn trees that you might meet along your way as you walk around. Maybe this is a chance for you to explore your patch, your town, your local area. Now, not all of us live in the country. I don't live in the country. I live in the middle of a city, a very, very big, bustling city. But I have been astonished by the number of hawthorns that are around me in my small patch, of houses and streets and a very busy road. There are a number of hawthorns. So as you walk, on your way to work or dropping your children off at school or, just on your daily constitutional, if you have one of those lovely walks, stop and have a chat with a hawthorn. Maybe spend some time seeing what comes up for you and ask a question. And if you do tie a ribbon, untie it and take it with you. I think we probably need to stop here, Gabby. But
Yeah.
is there anything that you would like to add to that?
No, and living with this feeling of playfulness. I like what you
Mm.
it's not only about asking it's like, I mean, for me the fairies are these beings that remind us this playfulness of
Mm.
life, right? This
Mm.
joy of life, laughter, full of magic, but this magic that is quite luminous. And for me, at least, I associated them with all this. So yeah, your invitation left me with a spirit of playfulness and openness, while being protected. What we were talking about, this thorn and protection and threshold,
Yes.
is a threshold that feels for me in this moment safe to go through.
Mm.
So I thank you,
Absolutely.
Sam, and thank everybody that will be listening to us, watching us. And please share, please give your thumb up, or subscribe to the channel, and let it be in your life to unfold your body wisdom and your energy guidance that in everyday life you find.
Lovely. Thank you, everybody. See you in the next one.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.